Hey everyone, welcome back to Hacky Lessons for another One Piece deck profile, and today I am talking about my favourite non-straw hat, Sabo. So I've been impatiently waiting the entire OPO6 meta to play this deck because Red-Black Sabo was fun, but it wasn't very good. But this is very good, right? Now, he is obviously Revolutionary Army, so that means he has the Revolutionary Army trait. And that means he can use cards like Karasu and Koala, which require a Revolutionary Army leader. So I've gone with a Revolutionary Army build. For one thing, you know, I do love a thematic deck, but I just think like using cards like Karasu, if you can do it, you should definitely do it. I've seen a few builds that are a bit more generic with like just triggers, good trigger stuff, you know, Sanjis and so on and so forth. But I don't like doing too much of that because you're gonna lose cards in hand. But so the Revolutionary Army strategy works very well for this leader regardless. You don't know what the leader does. He Don ×1, activate main, you may add one of your characters with a cost of 3 or more and a power of 7,000 or more to your life, and then give 2,000 power to one of your other characters. So obviously if a character card has Don attached to put him up to a power of 7,000, that makes them eligible. And then you may recall from playing Red Yellow Ballet Betty that a lot of the Revolutionary armies get their effects proccing when they're at 7,000 power. So that means this is it's basically doing kind of what Betty does, but a little bit safer, I would say. Betty could be a bit glass cannony. Sabo, you know, you're recovering at the same time as powering something up. You're not powering up 3 things, but you don't need to, really. We'll go through the list, and I'll talk about it as I go. But one thing I should just say up front, the way to play this deck, like the main thing you want to make sure you can have going is 2 attacking characters on board at all times. So you want one character to attack for 7,000, pop him into your life, give the other character the power boost with your leader ability, and then that one will attack and make use of that power boost that it got. Otherwise, that power boost can just be wasted if you don't sequence correctly. Let's get through it. So for Betty's to search for your Revolutionary Armies, because most of the deck is Revolutionary Army. Makes sense to me. This card is one of your most important cards. It is the 5-cost Evenkov that came in OPO6. So you play him and he searches the top 3 for a Revolutionary Army with power of 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 or less. So it will play one of your many other Revolutionary Armies, and that will put you at 2 characters on the board straight away, which is just what this leader needs. It can, in fact, hit this, which is also the same character. It doesn't specify it can't be Evenkov, so you can play this. And then this character is basically fueling your strategy in a similar way to this. So you can power this up to 7,000, play a Revolutionary Army from your hand, and then you can put him into your life if you want. One thing I often find myself doing is when this is able to attack, putting one onto it so it's at 7,000, and then that will be the thing that I put into my life, and then I can play it again and get my board going again. Pretty good. Let's go for all the Revolutionary characters. So Morley, and Morley is actually one of the most important cards as well, because right now one of the most popular meta decks is Black Yellow Luffy. And you know what Black Yellow Luffy does? Deliberately puts himself at 0 and then relies on a wall of blockers. So if you can get a Morley going, they're done. Morley unblockable. It's so funny. It is actually hilarious how much he is winning me games. You got your Lindbergh. He just KOs something with 3,000 power less if he is at 7. So he's probably not the most important card in the deck, but he comes in handy at times. And of course he's got the trigger, and Morley's got the trigger. Ditch a card and play it. So if you want to rely on triggers, you can, and there's cards in this deck that will help that out, including the fact that the leader you could choose what you're putting in your life, so you'll know. But this is the This is the reason to run the entire engine, really. Karasu is so good. If he's at 7,000 when he attacks, he minuses something 1,000 for the turn. So you attack with Karasu, and then their leader is at 4 for the rest of the turn, and then you attack. It puts in a lot of work. If you get 2 Karasus going at the same time, it's game over for them, it really is. 3 copies of the Inazuma that gets Banish. So he doesn't have a trigger, and he's kind of, Banish is good, but it's not the be end all. Some of these other effects are a bit more important, but he's worth having in the deck just in case you are coming up across a yellow deck, for example. Definitely puts in the work against yellow. But that is all the revolutionary armies that can be played off the 5-cost Ivankov, not including Koala, which we'll show in a second, but 3 of the yellow Sabos. And this card is basically Thunderbolt, except as a character card. So you're recovering so much life, it shouldn't hurt you too much to take one of your own life to use his effect. So on play, take a life to KO an opponent's 5-cost or less. It's just a good utility card if you need to get past a blocker to go for game or whatever. But now we have a little bit of the Ace package. So 3 copies of Rush Ace. It gets Rush if you have 2 or less life. And then so you can play Ace, put him into your life, and then play Ace again with the little boy Ace. So it's just a little bit of the Three Brothers engine. Like, I'm not running the little boys for Sabo. I gotta think of a better word than little boys, but the thing is, this is great, but it's a little bit, I'm not running the GARP searches, so it's not always going to be something I rely on. OP07 comes out, I'll probably swap these for the Rush Dragon, because that card is really good. And then these can be swapped out for something else. Alright, let's get into the 2K counters now. So 4 copies of Koala. You got the Revolutionary Army trait, so she works. She's just a better Otama in a way. On play, minus something by 3,000. Of course, you can play her off the Ivankovs if you need to, or if it's like your only option. And then, of course, that can help put Lindbergh online, get something below 3,000 power. 4 copies of Hiyori. Now, the way I play this deck, I rarely use Hiyori. Maybe if I have to go second, like generally, that's another thing I need to talk about. You want to go first with this deck. So, turn 1, you're at 1 Don, you can play a Betty. Turn 2, you play a Morley. Turn 3, you're at 5 Don and you want to play that 5-cost Ivankov as soon as possible. Start get that board going. But anyway, back to the story about Hiyori. So if you do have to go second, you could, if you want, play Hiyori and then deliberately put a trigger into your life. But I don't do it very often. And so that is why you're going to see at the end of this list and there isn't any Momos in there. And you're like, why there's no Momos? Excuse me. Well, I just rarely play her. But if your playstyle has you playing Hiyori a lot, you could probably fit some in somehow. Because Momo will also hit 2 Otamas, so just a mini version of Koala. Koala I like better, but Otama's just a little bit extra. And then 3 copies of the yellow event that came in the Three Brothers starter deck. That is the Flame Dragon King. It is a 4,000 power counter and lets you rearrange your life. You see what's coming, see what triggers are coming. And that is the deck list. I really enjoyed it. Like, it's probably going to be on my main deck for a while now. I think EB I might play around with some decks, but Sabo will be my deck I play when I want to win. OP07, I really want to play Vegapunk, which is fun, but it's not that good. The next regional coming up, I'll probably play Sabo, so there you go. Okay, I'll talk about that in due time. So I'll see you guys later.